Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So it is evening because we had to work at the fertilizer shed project today. So we're getting a late start picking corn. So we're down here in the muck on Tyler's dad and uncle's place, and we're gonna try to get this picked off at the 9650. See what happens. Dad got in pretty deep over to the left side of me here, and barely got out with the 2388. So I decided to come down here with an empty hopper to see what I can do. It's definitely squishy down in here. Like to get the rest of this farm picked off this evening and possibly get moved to the next one. If I don't get moved tonight, we'll start that one in the morning as soon as things dry off in the morning or frost thaws off, and then we will be done. So I got another farm that's 58 acres, and that's the end of it. All other than the 16 acres at my grandma's, which is only about 12 acres because the geese ate most of it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I might keep that as cow feed. I'm thinking I might tighten up the concave in one of these combines and make cobbage out of it, which is corn and the cob all ground up. You can do that with the combine. Basically the same thing as picking ear corn, but without an ear corn picker. A lot of guys do it that don't pick ear corn. They still want that cob. They just set the concave tight, turn the rotor speed up a little more, or cylinder speed, depending on what combine they have, and they grind it up. It works real good, but I like picking ear corn. I think it's fun. Kind of the nostalgia of it, because my great-grandpa used to pick a lot of ear corn. He actually had a mounted ear corn picker on a 400 case. I think it was a New Idea picker, if I remember right. My dad, when he was a kid, he handled a lot of ear corn, helping my great-grandpa. So I don't think this is going to be wet from here over to that little tree line there. I think the wet's going to be from here over. And where Dad got stuck is about where I got stuck with the 50-20 when I was trying to plow this place. The rear end fell in, and that was it. As soon as the rear end dropped in, then the plow hit the ground, and I couldn't go nowhere. So that was when Tyler came with the 8650 and dragged me up to the ditch bank over there. Good corn down here in this low ground. Problem is though, the sand's going to take away from the field average. Well, we're back in the low ground along the ditch. There's like a swale that runs and follows this ditch, and then it gets really low over in here. See how it is. I've made one pass. I'm not quite half full yet. I don't think it's going to be too heavy. Dad's coming. He's up a lot closer to the ditch. He's probably 8 rows away from the ditch itself. So he's up on the high ground. It's like a sand ditch bank over there. He'll get through that just fine. Got some tight rows over there. Oh, it's the overlap. he started having trouble planting this spring. Got it planted. There's some corn there. Turn to get out of here. Oh yeah. I would tile this, but I gotta get a couple year contract before I do that. And the problem is I don't think I'm gonna be able to put much fall on the tile because the water in the ditch is pretty high compared to that low spot right there. We might be able to run a tile in level, just kind of rely on the point of least resistance or path of least resistance, let the water run out. I don't know. Alright, we got some funky rows here. We're row off. What we got going on here, we'll just have to pick some rows and see what happens. It looks like I'm one row off, but looks like there's a row that'll pick up over there. I'll just go with it. As long as there's corn going in ahead, that's all I care. Well, here goes nothing. This is what I think is the wettest part here. Let's go down in here and see what happens. Not too bad. Hey, we made it. Just one row here. I don't know where it came from. Uh-oh. Whoa. A little soft there. Oh. Combine fell in. I think we're good now. Falling in. Not in four-wheel drive, so I don't know where this one row came from. One of us was off one. We'll get it though. No big deal. Alright. Go over here and finish this up. Well, this is the last of it for Tyler's dad and uncle's farm. It's probably too late tonight to move to the next field. Probably just start fresh in the morning. So we decided we're going to move down to my other farm yet tonight, at least get some ends broke in. And then in the morning, we'll go dump the trucks and we'll get started again. And we'll see what happens. If we're not done tomorrow, we will be really close to being done. So I'm excited about being done. There's a lot of things I want to go do. This harvest has gotten kind of drug out with the wet weather in the beginning and all that. Well, last night we got moved to our last farm, and we were just going to break in the ends, but then Tyler called me. He's like, hey, you want me to run the Pete back to the shop because it was sitting there across the road from his dad's? I said, yeah, if you want to. I said, can you bring the black one back that was sitting at the shop empty? Bring it back and we'll fill it yet tonight. So he went ahead and brought one back. So we actually stayed here and worked a little later and got some more corn out. So we're going to get started this morning. If we have a good day today, since we worked late last night, I think we'll be done. So let's see what happens. I'd like to be done today. So if you remember from my videos this spring, right out here in this field is where we dug that tile in with the 220, and we dug some of it in with Little Richard. We drained that wet spot off. That was not a wetlands. Everybody keeps saying that we drained a wetlands, and that was not a wetlands. That was all farmed at one time. It's just that water drains off from the field across the road into this because it's lower, and there used to be a tile that took care of that, but that tile collapsed. So we put a new tile in to solve the problem. So I'd like to get the tile plow hooked up to the 9300, and I'd like to run a couple more lines in there from that ditch this way. We'll see what happens. But I'm excited to get over there and see what kind of corn crop we got. It looks really good. Drying that up definitely helped increase the yield, that's for sure. Well, let's get in here and get started. Get kind of creative to get started here. Need to do a little more brush work, and need to move a little more dirt on this farm. The tree right here needs to go, and this is pretty steep right here. Getting started. I'm gonna have to come back around and clean them up a little bit. Pretty big drop off right there. Need to move some dirt up in this corner and make that not so steep. Get these ends picked off. Now that other side of the driveway right there, that did all right. A lot of high sand. I believe that's more of the most of the high ground on this farm. The rest of it's lower ground. Getting this broke in. I just drove over our new tile. Must have done a pretty good job backfilling it because I didn't even feel it. The only way I knew it was there is because I looked over at the ditch where I dug through the trees to get to the ditch. Cleared some trees off to get to the ditch. Looks to be fairly good corn over here. What we picked off last night was the higher part of this farm. The rest of this is lower, heavier ground. That up there's pretty sandy stuff. And it done decent. I don't know total numbers because I haven't got the grain tickets back to figure it out. But it did all right. I'm actually off a couple rows. Get over 2 rows, and plus I did that just so I wasn't too close to the trees hanging over. I get permission from the landowner to see if I can do some brush mowing on this farm. I always ask permission first because you never know. Some landowners don't want you to cut brush, some say knock yourself out. I like to do it as complimentary. You let me farm your farm and I'll mow your brush. we got our ends picked off, we're going to go right ahead and we're going to go around our surface drain. It's right here. You can see it in that little clear spot right there. So this is where it was really wet. See how nice the corn looks. The tile and the surface drain kept it nice and dry. I left a little bit of trench there to divert the water to the surface drain, but tile makes a difference, that's for sure. Instead of having a 1/4 of an acre of a blanked out spot, we've got a 1/4 acre of nice corn. So tile pays. So I know I had mentioned in a video or two ago that I was going to rent a bin from Cousin Matt to put this corn in. Well, I made a good deal with the elevator. I'm just going to haul it straight in. That bin site, it's kind of hard to get into, and we have to dig a hole to get that swing out to go low enough to go under the hopper bottoms, and I don't want to tear that the nice yard up that's there to do that, so I'm not going to mess with it. The other bin sites are easy access, especially this winter when there's snow on the ground. Those are easy. I can plow them out with either my pickup or the Bobcat to get the semis in there. This other site, it's not really that easy to do. So just figured, you know what, we'll just haul it in. And this winter, when there's that much snow on the ground and I'm not fighting it to get that grain out of the bins, I could be sitting in an excavator seat somewhere making money clearing trees or digging ditch. So, you know, you got to kind of choose your battles when you do this. If all we did was farm, and that's all I had to mess around with this winter, it'd be a different story. Well, we're on the second to the last field. One more field and we're done. It's got some really good looking corn on it though. This farm, I think I've said before, it's broke up into multiple fields. All the same farm, but just multiple smaller fields. I'm caught up with that. There's all kinds of soil types here. There's sand, there's muck, there's a little bit of clay. I've seen all different corn here. I've seen short corn, tall corn, little corn, overlapped in corn. Dad finished picking them ends off. I'm gonna head back the other way. It's like an L shape right here. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's an L shape. And this L acts as the ends for this part of the field. It looks like it's overlapped. It'll work. There we go. It's amazing when you go across the rows like that. It actually virtually leaves nothing. You have to try hard to find an ear. I don't recommend picking the whole field crossways, but you have to. It's not going to hurt anything. Bit of pickle vine there. Have to make a mental note of that. Spray that with some peat or something next year. A viewer asked a good question. If we could rid the farm totally, if there was a way to do it totally of the pickle vine. The answer to that is not really. The problem is that seed stays viable for so long in the ground. Like a giant ragweed seed is like 8 to 9 years that seed will lay in the ground, and then once it gets the right conditions, it'll actually grow. So even if you chisel plowed that seed deep, the next time you rotate that ground again or turn that dirt up again, that seed could get high enough that it would, sprout. So what we do is over time we kill them off. You know, like the one farm we were on with the giant ragweed in it, I had made the comment that we're starting to get them thinned out, which we are compared to what they used to be. They used to be all over that farm, about 85% of the farm, and now we've got them down to just some small patches here and there. So over time we have gained the control on them. Now if we quit controlling them, they're going to come back with vengeance. They're going to be all over the place. So as long as we keep a rotation going with different herbicides, we'll eventually eliminate them totally. I mean, I shouldn't say totally because that's kind of far-fetched. We will get them to the point where there won't be very many at all. They'll be here and there, but nothing like they were in the past. And then I suppose eventually you'll get rid of them. But the problem is the deer carry them, the birds carry the seeds in. That's like the pickle vine. They're little spiky things that are on their little pickles. Them actually get stuck in the deer's fur, and it'll take that little pickle and it'll take it wherever, and it'll start growing. So that's another issue, is it'll grow anywhere. So it'll be on a ditch bank or something, and then the birds get into it, and it's a vicious circle. It gets strung out all over the place. And really, like my dad said, 20 years ago there wasn't really any pickle vine around. It's just something that's migrated into our area over years, and it's not really native. It came here somehow. So the only other way I think you could do it to get rid of it 100% is if there's a way you could sterilize the soil with like heat, like fire, burn it, purify it like they do if it's got like chemicals in it or oils or something like that. Or I suppose you could screen it and screen all the seeds out. But other than that, I don't know how you'd get rid of it 100% in 1 year. There are different herbicides that are labeled for it, but as far as killing it in 1 year, no. You'll kill it for that year, but you won't eliminate the seeds in the ground. So hopefully that answers the question. Well, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. The last pass of Harvest 2023. And wouldn't you know it, we'd finish it with 2 rows off. Oh well. We're done. Other than I gotta pick ear corn and that stuff at Grandma's that I'm gonna make feed out of. Other than that, the main big farms are done. It's over. We are going to go pick some corn for Josh Monday and Tuesday. And his low ground, probably it's only going to take Monday. But other than that, we are done. So right here, the farm loan is officially paid back. And from here on is the profit for the year. There we go. That's the profit right there. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, we're going to go dump and we're going to head home. So thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Following us on our journey for Harvest 2023. It's not over yet. As far as picking some more corn action, we'll get Josh's corn. But for us, it's done. It's over with. Congratulations, George. You survived your first harvest.
Made it.
All the way through. George is riding with me tonight. So, all right, we're done. Thanks for watching.